Fox 11 is taking an in-depth look at the changing political environment all around the country by examining what's happening right here in Wisconsin as well. Fox 11's Mark Leland has more on how your voice is being heard in a special town hall that's happening tonight. Mark?
Well, Michelle, there is certainly a lot of drama in politics today. Even those who were never interested in the political scene are now paying attention. Fox 11 will hold a special town hall this evening at 7 o'clock on the Pulse of America. And hosting tonight's program is none other than former cable news anchor and Appleton native Greta Van Susteren.
Nice to see you. I'm thrilled to do this. This is fun for me.
Welcome back to Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, I come back as often as I can. I even wore my Green Bay colors. I don't know if anyone noticed. I wore my Packer colors.
Green and gold. You're fitting right in.
I'm a shareholder, so why not?
You're a shareholder. Well, politics and politicians, they're making headlines every day, and certainly Donald Trump is a big part of that. Has he been good for the political debate?
Well, he certainly has stirred up a lot of trouble. He certainly has stirred up people talking. It's almost like he's taken a cage and rattled everybody in it. But look, this is, the reason why Wisconsin is so fascinating. It really sort of ground zero for the whole national debate and the national discussion about it, because Wisconsin was so critical to President Trump becoming president. And with the state so divided, almost 50-50, all eyes of the nation are on Wisconsin, which is one of the reasons I wanted to come back and find out what's Wisconsin going to do next time.
Now, tonight, the discussion, you're going to be moderating this panel discussion. We're going to have Democrats, Republicans, and independents. Do you think Wisconsin is a good cross-section for the voice of America?
Well, in light of the fact they're 50-50, and in light of the fact that they have such a fascinating political situation with the Senate. I mean, they've got a far-right U.S. Senator in Ron Johnson, a far-left state U.S. Senator in Tammy Baldwin. I mean, the idea that two senators elected by an entire state and so different politically certainly makes this, as an indicator of where we're going to go. I mean, certainly makes it show that there's a lot of tension between the parties, and it's going to be a challenge, and we don't know who's going to win.
We don't know who's going to win. Today you were out at St. Norbert College getting kind of a feel on the campus there, talking to the students and faculty there on campus in De Pere. Give us, we got a little sample of what you talked to those voters about, and here's what they had to say.
Why do you think Trump was elected here?
I think a lot of people here are looking for change. I think that Hillary Clinton was seen as another politician, a little bit more corrupt, and Donald Trump, I think, was seen more as the regular person, the worker who worked his way up.
Wisconsin has a high manufacturing rate, and I think a lot of those folks think the Democrats have left them.
It was not an easy vote. It was something I struggled with for a long time. I think that I wouldn't have ever voted for Hillary Clinton, but I definitely considered writing in a candidate or just skipping that altogether.
Do you see that it's now going to sort of switch back a little bit to the Democrat or not?
I do. There's a motivated base of Democrats who are ready and willing to come out. I think the losses have stung over the last few years, and I think we're seeing them organize in a much better way.
What's the sense you're getting from those voters? I mean, as we head to the midterm elections, are they analyzing Trump's performance or his conduct?
Well, I think his conduct certainly is taking center stage. I mean, it's hard to escape the fact that his tweets are grabbing a lot of the headlines. I think it's really what the important thing is to try to sort of look through the noise, look through the tweets, and try to see what he's doing. What's he doing for Wisconsin? Is it something voters want or don't want? But there's no question about it, his conduct certainly is drawing headlines, and everyone's paying attention to those headlines.
We've seen in some special elections taking place across the country, most recently in Pennsylvania, but even in Wisconsin, the 10th State Senate District out on the western part of the state, heavily Republican out there, and yet they flipped.
And not just flipped a little bit. I mean, that was a substantial victory by the Democratic candidate, and I think it's a wake-up call to the Republican Party here in the state of Wisconsin. They may be getting ready for a very rude awakening come Election Day, but that was very shocking, I think, to the Republican Party, because it wasn't very close. It was a commanding victory by the Democrat.
Now, I talked to Governor Walker. He also indicated this is a wake-up call for Republicans. You've spoken with Reince Priebus, the former White House Chief of Staff and a Wisconsin native as well. Give us an idea, the sense that he tells you. What's it like around the country?
Well, he does sort of make it look sweet for the Republicans. I mean, he's a former head of the Republican Party, of the RNC, so he tries to make it look better. But I think underneath it, he has to realize that there are troubles to the Republican Party. But what they're focusing on are the battleground states. Some states they're never going to have to worry about. Some states they're never going to get. The Republicans are never going to get California, but they have to worry about Ohio. You mentioned Pennsylvania. That's very worrisome to them because they lost that seat last week. So that's worrisome. them, and they've got their eyes here in Wisconsin. And you mentioned that state Senate race where they lost by a commanding amount. So the Republicans are actually worried, but what they're going to do is they're going to sugarcoat it and say it's not as bad, we're in good shape, and we're winning. But you hear the same thing from the Democrats. They're all happy too. That's what they say. That's the public statement. Underneath all of it, they're worried, and they ought to be worried because there are a lot of people in the country that are still hurting. And a lot of people are worried about health, a lot of debate over immigration, a lot of issues where people are deeply divided. And you know that listening to people here in Wisconsin.
Even Republicans seem to be somewhat divided too. I mean, they're not all following the Trump administration. We talked to Governor Walker. He has some conflicts, particularly on the tariff issue that has come up. We talked to Walker, and here's what he had to say about the Trump administration.
I think part of the frustration people see here and across the nation is they look at Washington and they feel like a lot of promises were made and only a handful have been delivered on. They'd like to see more done. For us, that's part of our challenge, is to get out the counter to that, which is in Wisconsin, we are getting things done.
So should Republicans be focused on the core base of Republicans, or should they be focused on those independents to try and get that swing vote?
I think they should worry about the independents, that swing vote, especially in such a narrowly divided state like this. But when I hear a politician, Governor Walker, say, you know, politicians don't fulfill promises, the first time when I heard that soundbite, I thought, oh, brother, I hope he doesn't ask about that promise he made about jobs in 2010. Right. So, so I'm not so sure that, I think probably if Governor Walker could have a do-over on that about politicians making promises, he'd want a do-over. I mean, they all make grand promises. They make grand promises to get elected, and then we all get mad because they don't meet those promises. I mean, President Trump says he's going to build a wall. Well, there's no wall. So those who wanted a wall, they're not happy tonight. Maybe there will be a wall, but we get lots of promises from politicians.
A lot of talk from the voters out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Greta Van Susteren, thank you for joining us, and you're going to join her tonight at 7 o'clock for this online town hall hosted by Greta. You can see it on our website by going to fox11online.com.